She has guests this afternoon. Who wants her? Wait, just a minute. Hang on, just a minute. Psst. Mother. Psst. Mother.
Oh, yes, dear.
Telephone.
Oh, not now, dear. Not with all them in there. Say I'm busy.
Mother, it's the society editor from the evening
Oh,
newspaper.
the society editor? Oh, she's very important. Good afternoon, Miss Ellerby. This is Vita Simmons. Yes, a tea and reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. You might say program tea. Yes, well, my mother, you know, the late Marcella Penny Dowd, pioneer cultural leader. She came here by ox team as a child, and she founded the Wednesday Forum. Oh, Myrtle, how many would you say?
75 at least. Say 100.
75. Miss Tewksbury is the soloist, accompanied by Wilde McCurdy, accompanist.
Mother, come on. Miss Tewksbury, she's almost finished with the numbers.
Oh, she'll do an encore.
Well, if she doesn't get a lot of applause.
Oh, dear, I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say that I am entertaining, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle Bay Simmons. Oh, Myrtle, what color would you call that?
Rancho Rose, they told me.
Miss Myrtle Bay Simmons looked charming in a modish Rancho Rose toned crepe, picked up slightly at the girdle with a touch of magenta on emerald. I wish you could see her, Miss Ellerby.
Oh, Mother, come on. Where's the caterers?
Oh, everything's ready, dear. The moment she's finished singing, we'll open the dining room doors and begin pouring. Yes, the parlors and halls are festooned with smilax. Yes, festooned. Oh, yes, well, that's right, Miss Ellerby. This is the first party we've had here in years. Well, there is a reason, but I don't want it in the papers. We all have our troubles, Miss Ellerby. Oh, the guest list.
Mother, come on.
Oh, just a moment, Miss Ellerby. I'll call you back later.
Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet, she's asking for you.
Oh, Miss Eugene Chauvenet Sr. Her father was a scout with Buffalo Bill.
So that's where she got that hat.
Oh, Myrtle, you must be nice to Mrs. Chauvenet. She has a grandson about your age.
But what difference will it make to Uncle Elwood?
Myrtle, we promised not to talk about that this afternoon. The whole point of this party is to get you started. We work through those older women to the younger group.
But we can't have anyone here in the evenings, and that's when men come to see you, in the evenings. The only reason we could have the party this afternoon is because Uncle Elwood is playing Peanut like a 4th Avenue firehouse. Thank God for the firehouse!
Oh, Myrtle, they'll just have to invite you out, and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle, you've got so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says, there's something sweet about every young girl, and a man takes that sweetness, and look what he does with it. But you've got to meet somebody, Myrtle, that's all there is to it.
And when I do, they'll say, that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle's the biggest screwball in town. Elwood P. Dowd and his pal.
You promised.
Let's get everybody to the dining room.
Right, and when the members come in here, don't forget to do this with your hand.
And then I'll mention my Uncle Elwood and say a few words about his pal, Harvey! Damn Harvey!
Oh, Myrtle Bay! That's right! Let everybody in the Wednesday Forum hear you! You said that name. You promised you wouldn't say that name, and you said it!
I'm sorry, Mother, but how do you know Uncle Elwood won't introduce Harvey to everybody?
Myrtle May, this is unkind of you. Your Uncle Elwood is the biggest heartache I have. Even if people do call him peculiar, he's still my brother. And besides, he won't be home this afternoon.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Dear, must I remind you again? Elwood is not living with us. We are living with him.
Living with him and Harvey. Did grandmother know about Harvey?
I've wondered and wondered about that. She never wrote me if she did.
Why did she leave all her property to Uncle Elwood?
Well, I suppose it's because she died in his arms. People are sentimental about things like that.
Always say that, and it never makes any sense. She couldn't have written her will when she died, could she?
Oh, now don't be didactic, Myrtle May. It's unbecoming in a young woman, and then loathe it. Now, come on. Don't forget to wave your hand.
Try my best.
Oh, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading.
Not
Hello? Oh, I'm afraid you've got the wrong number, but how are you anyway? This is L.P. Dowd speaking. I'll do. Well, thank you, and what's your name, my dear? Miss Elsie Greenawalt. Harvey to Miss Elsie Greenawalt. And how are you today, Miss Greenawalt? Well, that's fine, that's fine. Yes, I'd be happy to join one of your clubs. I belong to several clubs now, the University Club, the Country Club, and the Pinnacle Club at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. I spend a great deal of my time there, as well as at Charlie's Place and at Eddie's Bar. Oh, what's your club, my dear? Harvey. I get the Ladies' Home Journal, the Open Road for Boys, and Good Housekeeping for 2 years for $6.25. That sounds fine to me, I'll join it. How's it sound to you, Harvey? Harvey says it sounds fine to him, too. Yes, 2 subscriptions, mailed him to this address. Well, I hope I'll have the pleasure of meeting you in person, Miss Greenawalt. Harvey, she says she wants to meet me, too. When? When would you like to meet, Miss Greenawalt? Well, why not right now? My sister seems to be having a few friends over, and we would consider it an honor if you would come and join us. Well, my sister will be delighted. 343 Temple Avenue. Hope to be seeing you in a very few minutes, my dear. Goodbye now. She says she's coming right over. Think you better freshen up before she gets here? Yes, so do I.
I can't seem to remember where I put that guest list. Have you seen it, Miss Johnson?
No, I haven't, Mrs. Simmons.
Oh, go look at my dresser.
Mother, Shawnee, she's here to see you.
Oh, Louise Simmons! What? I thought you were dead. Oh, Aunt Ethel, no, I'm very much alive, thank you. And this full-grown girl is your daughter? I've known you since you were a baby.
I know.
What's your name, dear? Oh, this is Myrtle May Aunt Ethel, for the 2 sisters of her father. He's dead. That's what confused you. Where's Elwood? Oh, he's not here today, Aunt Ethel.
Elwood isn't here?
No. Oh, shame on him. That was the main reason I came. I want to see Elwood. Oh, come, Aunt Ethel. There are loads of people at this party anxious to speak to you.
But do you realize, Vita, it's been years since I've seen Elwood.
No, where does the time go?
But I don't understand it. I was saying to Mr. Chauvenet only the other night, what on earth do you suppose has happened to Elwood Dowd? He never comes to the club dances anymore, and I haven't seen him in 4 show years. Does Elwood see anybody these days?
Oh, yes, Aunt Ethel. Elwood sees somebody.
Yes, he does. Your Uncle Elwood, child, is one of my favorite people. Always has been.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Now, what about tea, Vita?
Oh, certainly. If you forgive me, I'll precede you.
Elwood Dowd, bless your heart.
Aunt Ethel, what a pleasure to come in and find a beautiful woman waiting for me.
Elwood, you haven't changed.
Oh, Aunt Ethel, you mustn't miss the party.
There's punch if you don't like tea. I don't like tea. Stop pulling at me, you two. Elwood, what night next week might you be able to come to dinner?
Any night at all, Aunt Ethel, I'll be delighted.
Elwood, oh, there's some mail for you today. I took it up to your room.
Well, thank you, Vita. That was very nice of you. Aunt Ethel, I'd like you to be a friend of mine. His name is Harvey. As you can see, he's a cool. Harvey, you've heard me speak of Mrs. Chauvenet. You'll have to call her Aunt Ethel. She's one of my oldest and dearest friends. Well, you two both look lovely. Come along, Harvey. Let's go say hello to all of our friends. If you pardon me for just a moment, Aunt Ethel.
What?
You're standing in his way.
Okay.
Come along, Harvey. Oh, well, all right. Go right on in. Aunt Ethel, I can see you're a bit disturbed about my friend Harvey. Please, don't be. He stares like that at everybody. It's his way. But he liked you. I can tell. He liked you very much.
Some tea, perhaps?
All right, now, well, I think I'll be going. You just got here.
I'm so sorry. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Where are you going?
I can't face those people now. He's probably introducing her to everybody. I wish I were dead.
No, come back here. Stay with me. we've got to pretend we're having a gay little chat. Please keep looking. If you catch his eye, tell me. He always comes when I call him.
I don't see him yet. How do you do, Mrs. Cummings?
Oh, smile, can't you? Have you no pride? I'm smiling and he's my own brother.
People get run over by trucks every day. Why can't something like that happen to Uncle Elwood?
Myrtle May Simmons, I am ashamed of you. This thing is not your uncle's fault. Oh, that's Mrs. Halsey. Keep looking, keep smiling. Hello? Oh, yes. Should you come in the clothes you have on? Well, what have you on? I'm sorry, who is this? Well, I don't know any Miss Greenewalt. Should you what? May I ask who invited you? Mr. Dowd. Well, thank you just the same, but I believe there has been a mistake. Well, I never.
What?
One of your Uncle Elwood's friends. She asked if she could bring a quart of gin to the Wednesday Forum. Oh.
I think I see him now. He's talking to Mrs. Halsey.
Is Harvey with him?
What a thing to ask! How am I supposed to know? How is anybody supposed to know except for Uncle Elwood?
Oh, Elwood, could I see you for a moment, dear? Myrtle, I promise you, your Uncle Elwood has disgraced us for the last time in this house. I'm going to do something I've never done before.
What did you mean just now when you said it wasn't Uncle Elwood's fault? If it isn't his fault, whose fault is it?
Never you mind, I know whose fault it is. Now, put your head up and smile and go back in as though nothing has happened.
You're no match for Uncle Elwood.
You'll see.
I want to see you now.
Yes, sister. Excuse me, Harvey.
Oh, Elwood, can I speak to you for a moment, dear?
Oh, yes, of course. I happen to have a little bit of free time right now. You're welcome to all of it.
Right,
Should Harvey wait too?
Yes, Elwood, he certainly should. Do you mind sitting here until the party's over and waiting for me? It's very important. Okay.
Well, make yourself comfortable, Harvey. Vita says it's very important. I think she wants to congratulate us on the impression we made at her party. What's that? Oh, it's Jane Austen, deluxe edition, limited Ross and Dunlap. The usual acknowledgments. Chapter 1.
Mrs. O.R. Simmons, 343 Temple Avenue, is that right?
It's old, but we love it. We were born and raised there. It's our home.
And you wish to enter your brother here at the sanitarium for treatment. Your brother's name?
It's... Oh!
Mrs. Simmons, what is your brother's name?
I'm sorry, life isn't easy for any of us, but I'll have to hold my head up and go on just the same. That's what I keep telling Myrtle May, and that's what Myrtle May keeps telling me. She's heartbroken about her Uncle Elwood. Oh, that's it, Elwood P. Dowd.
Elwood P. Dowd. His age?
47 the 24th of last April. He's Taurus the bull. I'm Leo, and Myrtle's on cusp.
47. Is he married?
Oh no, Elwood never married. He stayed home with Mother. He loved his home.
And do you have him with you now?
Oh, yes, he's in a taxi cab down in the driveway. I paid the driver $1 to watch him, but I didn't tell him why. You can't tell these things to perfect strangers.
Mr. Wilson, will you please step down to a taxi in the driveway and ask a Mr. Dowd if you'd be good enough to step up to room 24, South Wing G?
Ask him.
This is his sister, Mrs. Simmons.
How do you escort?
Thank you. The rates here, Mrs. Simmons. You'll find them printed on this card.
Oh, that will all be taken care of by my mother's estate, the late Marcella Penny Dowd and Judge Gaffney's own.
Right. Well, now I'll see if Dr. Sanderson can see you.
Dr. Sanderson? Well, I want to see Dr. Chumley himself.
Mrs. Simmons, Dr. Sanderson is the one who sees everybody. Dr. Chumley sees no one.
Well, he's still the head of this institution, isn't he? He's still a psychiatrist, isn't he?
Still a psychiatrist. Dr. Chumley is a psychiatrist with a national reputation. Whenever people have a breakdown, they at once think of Dr. Chumley.
Well, that's his office, isn't it? Well, you march right in there and tell him I'm here. He knows who's here, he'll come right out.
Oh, I wouldn't dare disturb him, Mrs. Simmons. I'd be discharged if I did.
Well, I don't like to be pushed on to any second fiddle.
Dr. Sanderson is nobody's second fiddle. He's young, of course. Hasn't been out of medical school for very long, but Dr. Chumley tried out 12 and kept Dr. Sanderson. He's really quite lovely with the patients.
Very well. Tell him I'm here.
wonderful.
Oh, Elwood.
Mrs. Simmons!
Oh, dear, I didn't hear you come in. You startled me. You're Dr. Sanderson.
Yes, please take a seat.
Oh, thank you. I hope you don't think I'm jumpy like that all the time, but...
Of course not. Miss Kelly tells me you're concerned about your brother. Dowd, is it? L.O.P. Dowd.
Life isn't easy for any of us, Doctor.
Naturally, these things aren't easy for the patients. I understand.
Well, it's what Elwood's doing to himself, Doctor. That's the thing. Little May has a right to nice friends. She's young and her whole life is before her. Oh, that's my daughter.
Your daughter, you say. How long has it been since you noticed any peculiarities in your brother's actions?
Oh, well, I noticed it right away when Mother died and Myrtle May and I moved back home from Des Moines to live with Elwood. We could see that he...
It's okay, Mrs. Simmons. Let it come. I'll wait for it.
Doctor, everything I say to you is confidential, isn't it?
That's understood.
Oh, because it is a slap in the face to everything we've stood for in this community, the way Elwood is acting now.
I am not a gossip, Mrs. Simmons. I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess.
To excess. Well, don't you call it excess when a man never lets a day go by without stepping into one of those cheap taverns, sitting around with riff-raff of people you never heard of, inviting them to the house, giving them food and money? Oh, as I told Myrtle May, if your uncle had to bring something home, why couldn't he bring home something human? But if that isn't excess, I don't know what excess is.
I didn't doubt your statement, Mrs. Simmons. I merely asked if your brother drinks.
Oh, well, yes, I say definitely Elwood drinks, and I want him committed out here permanently, because I cannot stand another day of that Harvey. Myrtle May and I have to move over on the sofa and make room for Harvey. We have to answer the telephone when Elwood calls and asks to speak to Harvey. We have to set a place at the table for Harvey. This afternoon at the party with Mrs. Chauvenet there, I didn't even know anything about Harvey until I came back here. Doctor, don't you think it would have been a little bit kinder of Mother to have written and told me about Harvey? Be honest now, don't you?
I really couldn't answer that question.
Well, I can. Yes, it certainly would have.
Mrs. Simmons, who is this Harvey you speak of?
Well, he's a rabbit.
Perhaps, but just who is he? Some companion your brother has met at these bars of whom you disapprove.
No, Doctor, I've been telling you. Harvey is a big white rabbit, 6 feet tall. Or is it 6 feet and a half? Heaven knows I ought to know. He's been around the house long enough.
Let me get this straight, Mrs. Simmons. You say...
Doctor, do I have to keep repeating myself? My brother insists that his closest friend is this big white rabbit. This big white rabbit is named Harvey. Harvey lives at our house. Don't you understand? He and Elwood go every place together. Elwood buys railroad tickets, theater tickets for both of them.
Mrs. Simmons, I can see you've been under a great nervous strain.
Yes, well, wait, Doctor. I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody in the world before. Sometimes I see that rabbit myself. Now isn't that terrible? I've never even told that to Myrtle May.
Of course, Mrs. Simmons.
And what's more, he's every bit as big as Elwood says he is. No, don't ever tell that to anyone, Doctor. I'm ashamed of it.
Of course, Mrs. Simmons. Of course. You're tired. Grief over your mother's death depressed you considerably.
Nobody knows how much.
Been losing sleep.
How could anybody sleep with that going on?
Short-tempered over trifles.
Oh, you try living with those two and see how your temper holds up.
Loss of appetite.
How could anybody eat at a table with my brother and a big white rabbit? Well, I'm finished with it. I'll sell the house, be appointed conservator of Elwood's estate, and Myrtle May and I can entertain our friends in peace. It's too much, Doctor. I just can't stand it.
Of course, Mrs. Simmons, of course. You've been worrying a great deal.
Yes.
And now I'm going to help you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Just sit right there and I will be right back.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go down to the cabin, get Elwood's
Why didn't someone answer the buzzer?
I didn't hear you, Doctor.
I rang and I rang. Wilson, sound the gong. That poor woman must not leave these grounds.
Yeah, she's made with the getaway, huh, Doc?
Her condition is serious.
Yeah.
Go after her.
I can't believe it.
Main gate, Henry. Dr. Sanderson, allow no one out of the main gate. We're looking for a patient. I wouldn't have left her alone, but no one answered the buzzer.
Wilson was in South, Doctor.
What we have available, Miss Kelly?
Room number 13 is ready, Doctor.
Have her taken there, and I will prescribe preliminary treatment. Also, contact her brother. Dowd is the name. Elwood P. Dowd.
But Doctor, she said the treatment was for her brother.
It's the oldest dodge in the world, Kelly, always used by a cunning type of psychopath. Apparently, she knew that her brother was going to commit her, so she came up front to discredit him. Now get him on the phone, please.
But Doctor, I thought the woman was all right. So I had Wilson take the brother to room 24. He's there now.
You had Wilson take the brother in? No gags, please, Kelly. You're not serious, are you?
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. Oh, I'm terribly sorry,
Oh,
Doctor.
well, if you're sorry, that fixes everything.
I'll do it, Doctor, I'll do it. Yes, Miss Dunphy, will you please unlock door 24, giving Mr. Dowd his clothes back? And
Tell him to come down straight away.
tell him to come down to the office right away. There's been a terrible mistake, and Dr. Sanderson wishes to explain.
Explain? Apologize.
Thank heavens she hadn't put him in the hydro tub yet. She'll let him out.
Beautiful and dumb, too. It's almost too good to be true.
I just didn't know, Doctor. Judge Gaffney called and said that Mrs. Simmons and her brother would be down today, and I... You don't have to be sarcastic.
Oh, don't I? Don't worry about this, Kelly. We'll swim out of this some way.
Wait, where are you going?
I gotta tell the chief about it, Kelly. He may want to handle this himself.
He'll be furious. I know he will. He'll die, and then he'll terminate me.
No, the responsibility is all mine, Kelly.
Oh, no, Doctor, tell him it was all my fault.
And I never mention your name, except in my sleep.
But this man Dowd.
Well, he's a man, and he probably fit the tie.
I guess so. His name is Mr.
Kelly, go into your own routine. You know, eyes, the swish, the works. I'm immune, but I've seen it done with other patients. Just don't let him get away, even if you have to do a striptease, all right?
Oh, you're wonderful, Dr. Sanderson. Just about the most wonderful person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, but how about giving me a hand here just to say?
What?
That Simmons dame.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whistle. She was coming down the path, humming a little tune. I jumped down from behind a tree and I said, "Sister, there's a man who wants to see you." Should have heard her yell. She's wacky, all right.
All right, take her to room number 13, Wilson.
Ah, she's there now. Brought her to the dye kitchen. She was screaming and kicking like hell. I'll hold her down if you come and undress her.
Just a second, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson wants me to wait here until the brother comes down.
Make it snappy.
You're Mr. Dowd?
Oh, yes, Elwood P.
I'm Miss Kelly.
Well, let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number, not that one. That's the old one.
Thank you.
Perfectly all right. If you should lose that one, don't worry. I've got plenty more.
Won't you please have a chair, Mr. Dowd?
Oh, yes, thank you. I'll take two. Allow me.
Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to speak with you. He'll be down in a moment. Won't you please sit?
After you, my dear.
Oh, I can't really. I'm in and out all the time. But you mustn't mind me. Please sit.
After you.
All right. Could I get you a magazine to look at, Mr. Dowd?
Oh, no, Miss Kelly, I'd much rather look at you. You really are very lovely.
Some people here don't seem to think so.
Well, some people are blind. That's often brought to my attention. Before we go on, let me introduce you to a very good friend of mine. His
Mr. Dowd!
Ah, here, let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number, not that one. That's the old one.
Mr. Dowd, I'm Dr. Lyman Sanderson, Dr. Chumley's assistant now.
Well, good for you. I'm very glad to meet you. How are you, doctor?
That's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. Will you please take a seat?
After Miss Kelly.
Sit down. Is everything all right with you? Is the chair quite comfortable?
Yes, would you care to try it?
What about like the overall temperature in the room? Is everything good? Do I have to open a window or something?
Mr. Down, Dr. Sanderson would like to know if you should open a window.
Oh, well, that's entirely up to him. I wouldn't presume to live his life for him.
All right, Mr. Dowd. I can see you're the type of person not to be taken in by any high-flown phrases or beating around the bush.
Is that so, Doctor?
You have us at a disadvantage here. You know it, we know it. Let's lay our cards on the table.
Well, that certainly will be, Doctor.
Best way in the long run. People are people no matter where you go.
That is very often the case.
And being human are therefore liable to mistakes. Miss Kelly and I have made a mistake here this afternoon, and we'd like to explain it to you.
It wasn't Dr. Sanderson's fault, Mr. Dow. It was mine.
A human failing, as I said.
Well, nevertheless, I find it very interesting. You and Miss Kelly here. This afternoon, you say.
I do hope you'll understand, Mr. Dow.
Oh, yes. These things are often the basis of a long and warm friendship.
Responsibilities, of course, not hers, but mine.
Your attitude may be old-fashioned, Doctor, but I like it.
Now, if I'd seen your sister first, that would have been an entirely different story.
Yeah. Now, there you surprise me. I think the world know Vita, but I suppose she'd seen her day.
Now, you must not attach and blame onto your sister, Mr. Dow. She is a very sick woman. Came in here insisting you were in need of psychiatric treatment. That's perfectly ridiculous.
Well, she shouldn't worry about that. I get along fine.
But it's just she contacted Miss Kelly and your family lawyer, Judge Gaffney.
Oh, I know him. Know his wife, too. Nice people.
Is everything all right with you, Mr. Dow?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Here, let me get you a glass of water. Now, your sister came into a heated tirade on your drinking.
That was Vita.
She became hysterical.
Well, she shouldn't worry about that. I'll take care of that, Doctor.
Of course. Oh, I suppose you take a drink now and then, the same as the rest of us.
Yes, I do. In fact, I'd like one right now.
As a matter of fact, so would I. But your sister's reaction to the entire matter was entirely too intense. Does your sister drink, Mr. Dowd?
No, Doctor. I don't believe Vita's ever taken a drink in her life.
Well, I think I'm going to surprise you. I think she has and does constantly.
Well, I'm certainly surprised.
But it's not her alcoholism that's going to be the basis of my diagnosis of her case. It's much more serious than that. It was when she became talking so emotionally over this big white rabbit. Harvey, yes, I believe she called him Harvey.
Well, Harvey is his name.
She claimed you were persecuting her with this Harvey.
Oh, now I haven't been persecuting her with Harvey. She shouldn't feel that way. And before we go on, I must insist you let me introduce...
Just a minute, Mr. Dowd. Let me finish. Now, this trouble of your sister's didn't spring up overnight. Her condition stems from trauma.
From what?
Trauma, spelled T-R-A-U-M-A. It means shock. There is the birth trauma, or the shock of the act of being born.
Well, that's the one we never get over.
This man has a nice sense of humor, hasn't he, Miss Kelly?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
May I say the same about the both of you?
So to sum it all up, your sister's condition is serious. But I can help her. She must, however, remain out here temporarily.
Well, I've always wanted Vita to have everything she needs.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't want her to be out here unless she likes it here and wants to stay out here.
Of course. Did Wilson get what he went after?
Yes, Doctor.
What was her attitude, Miss Kelly?
Not unusual, Doctor.
Mr. Dowd, if this was some ordinary illusion, something reflected off of the memory picture, in other words, if your sister was seeing something that she already seen before, that would be one thing. But it stands to reason that nobody has ever seen a big white rabbit standing 6 feet tall.
Well, not very often, Doctor.
I like you, Dowd.
Oh, I like you too, and Miss Kelly here. I like you too.
So your sister's condition is serious. Under these conditions, I would commit my own grandmother.
Does your grandmother drink too?
It's just an expression, Mr. Dowd. Now, will you sign these temporary commitment papers as an next of kin? Just a formality.
Well, you better have Vita do that, Doctor. She usually does all the signing and managing for the family. She's good at it.
We can't disturb her now.
Well, perhaps I better talk it over with Judge Gaffney.
Explain to him later. Tell him I advise him. And it isn't as if you couldn't drop on by and make inquiries. We'd be glad to have you. When would you like to come? Friday, say? Wednesday, say?
Well, you two have been so pleasant I can come right back after dinner, about an hour.
That'd be fine. Miss Kelly and I are a bit busy, but that could work.
You know, I'm not even that hungry. I can stay right here.
Glad to have you. Now, Miss Kelly and I have to go up on stairs now, so I might tell you what you might get to do.
What might I like to do?
Well, we usually don't do this for the families of patients, but just for you to make sure in your head that you're in good hands, we'll give you a full visiting privileges. Now, if you go right past the stairs there, you'll find the occupational therapy room, and then the conservatory, and then the library, and then the diet hall.
Well, for Vita's sake, I believe I'd better do that, Doctor.
It's been nice having this little chat with you, Mr. Dow.
I've enjoyed it too, meeting you and Miss Kelly here.
And I would say that for a layman, you have an unusually acute perception into psychiatric problems.
Never thought to do anything about it.
Well, a good psychiatrist isn't found under every bush.
Have to take the right bush. Well, since you all seem to be enjoying this so much, I propose we go down to Charlie's place and have a drink. When I enjoy people, I like to keep right on going.
Well, Miss Kelly and I are working right now. Give us a rain check. Later on, we'd be glad to.
When would you be glad to?
Well, Miss Kelly and I don't go out until 10 o'clock at night.
Well, let's go to Charlie's place at 10 o'clock tonight.
Well,
And you, Miss Kelly?
Dr. Chalmers doesn't really approve of members of the staff fraternizing, but perhaps we could make an exception.
Well, I'll pick you both up outside in a cab at 10 o'clock tonight. We will spend a happy evening together. I'll introduce you to a friend of mine. And you said later on. So later on it'll be goodbye now.
I can breathe again.
That was a close shave, all right. That man is proud. What he has to be proud of, I don't know. I played up to that prize. You can get almost anybody you want to by doing that. Now I gotta look into that Simmons one.
Dr. Sanderson, you say you can get anybody if you want to. How do you do that?
Takes study, Kelly. Years of specialized training. There's only one thing I don't like about this whole Dow business.
What's that?
Having to make that date with him. Of course, he's a good friend and a booster of the sanitarium, so I guess I'll have to go with him. But don't worry, you don't have to.
Oh,
There's no point in it. I'll have a drink with him, pat him on the back, and leave. I've got a date tonight anyways.
oh yes, by all means. I didn't want to go anyway. The idea bored me stiff. I wouldn't go if I never went anywhere again. I wouldn't go if my life depended on it.
What are you getting so emotional about, Miss Kelly?
He may have been a peculiar man with funny clothes, but he knew how to act. His manners were perfect.
Oh, I saw you giving him the double quick stare. I didn't miss that.
He wouldn't sit down till I sat down. He told me I was lovely, and he called me dear. I'd go have a drink with him if you weren't going.
Oh, sure you would. And look at him. All he does is hang around bars. He doesn't work. All that corny bowing and standing up before a woman makes a big move. Why, he's as outdated as a cast iron deer. But you'd sit with him. You'd let him flatter you. You're a wonderful girl, Kelly. A wonderful girl.
Now let me tell you something. You...
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly,
Miss Doctor?
tell the gardener to prune more carefully around my prized dahlias. They'll be ready for cutting next week. And this difficulty with the one with the white rabbit has been smoothed over yet.
Yes, I talked to her about it. It's quite reasonable.
Must have had many patients out here who've seen animals. Never before have I dealt with a patient with an animal that large.
Yes, Doctor, I believe she called him Harvey.
Harvey? Unusual name for an animal of any kind. Harvey's a man's name. I mean, I've known several people in my day named Harvey, but never before have I heard of any type of animal with a name like that. The case has an interesting phase, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
I will now go upstairs with you and have a look at this woman. Maybe that we use my formula 977 on her. I'll give you the advice and prescribe the treatment, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
And now, may I ask, what is that hat doing on the table? Whose is it?
I don't know, Doctor. Did Mr. Dowd leave his hat?
No, doctor, he had his hat on when he left. Perhaps it belongs to a relative of one of the patients?
Have me the hat. To make it with some sort of identification. Oh, here. What's this? What's this? 2 holes cut on top of the crown of the hat.
How strange.
Sweetie fat. Put it away. Hang it up. Just get it out of here.
Hello, Dr. Shumley.
Oh, there you are.
How is every little thing?
Fair. Thank you, Wilson. Fair.
Look, someone's gonna have to give me a hint to the Simmons dame. Put a restraining jacket or something. She's terrible.
Now,
Forgot about me, did you? I got her corset off all by myself.
and I'll go upstairs with you and have a look in this room right now, Wilson.
Oh, she's in the hydro tub now. Oh my God, I left the water running on her.
Willie! Hello, Dr. Sanderson. Willie, have forgotten the cocktail party? You promised her faithfully.
Ah, yes, yes. But first, I'm going to have a look at this woman upstairs. Be down shortly.
Give a little quick diagnosis. We really can't be late to the party. I'm dying to see the inside of that house. Good evening.
Oh, good evening.
I'm Mrs. Chumley, Dr. Chumley's wife.
Elwood P. Dowd. Here, let me get you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number. Not that one. That's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
Anything you have in mind?
Well, you seem to be looking for someone.
Oh, yes, looking for my friend Harvey, the puka. He came out here with me this afternoon. I left him.
Harvey, is he a patient here?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Does he work here?
No, he's what you might call my best friend. He came out here with Vita and I this afternoon.
Well, where was he when you last saw him?
He was sitting in his chair here, with his coat on the chair and his hat on the table.
It doesn't seem to be he had a coat around him now. Perhaps he left.
He must have. I can't seem to find him anywhere.
What was that word you said earlier? Puka?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that something new?
No, as I understand it, that's something very old.
Really? I've never happened to hear it before.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I hadn't heard it myself until I met him. I do hope you get to meet Harvey. I think he'd be quite taken with you.
Really? Well, that's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Not at all. If Harvey likes someone, he expresses himself quite definitely. If he's not too interested, he just sits there like an empty chair, an empty spot on the floor, doesn't do much at all. Takes his time making up his mind about people. Choosy, you see.
That's not such a bad way to be in this day and age.
Harvey is very fond of my sister Vita. That's because he's very fond of me. Vita and I are related. Now you'd think that feeling would be mutual, wouldn't you? But Vita doesn't seem to like Harvey at all. Too bad, isn't it?
I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to like my friends. It's useless.
But you must keep on trying.
Well, there's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey's told me once, he's told me a million times, Mr. Dowd, I'd do anything for you. Mrs. Chumley,
Yes.
did you know that Miss McKinley's Aunt Rose is coming in from Cleveland to visit her this week?
Why, no, I didn't.
See, there's a Miss McKinley. That puts you two rather in the same boat, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose so, but I don't know anybody named Mrs.
McKinley, wonderful woman, lives right next door to us. Harvey told me that interesting little news item. You're perfectly free to pass it around.
Well,
Mrs. Chumley,
yes.
would you like to come downtown with me to Charlie's and have a drink?
Oh, I really couldn't. I'm waiting on Dr. Chumley. And if he came down and found me gone, well, he would be liable to raise. He would be irritated.
But we want that, would we? Some other time, maybe.
Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do, however.
What will you do, however? I'm interested.
If your friend comes in while I'm still here, I'd be glad to give him a message for you.
Would you do that? I really appreciate that.
No trouble at all. Write it down on the back of this. Now, what would you like me to tell your friend if he comes in while I'm still here?
Tell him to meet me downtown if he has no other plans.
Meet Mr. Dowd downtown. Any particular place downtown?
Oh, he knows where. Harvey knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where. Harvey what?
Just Harvey.
I'll tell you what.
What?
Doctor and I are going right downtown to 12th and Montview. Doctor says having a cocktail party.
Cocktail party at 12th and Montview.
We're leaving in just a few minutes. I could give your friend a lift into town.
Oh, I hate to impose on you, but I really appreciate that.
No trouble at all. Dr. McClure's having this party for his sister from Wichita.
Well, I didn't know Dr. McClure had a sister in Wichita.
You know Dr. McClure?
No! Mrs. Chumley, are you sure we can't spare the time to come downtown and have a drink?
I really couldn't, but thank you.
Some other time, maybe.
Yes.
Well, goodbye, my dear. You can't miss Harvey. He's very tall like that.
That sewing woman is uncooperative. She refuses to admit to me that she sees this giant white rabbit. Sisters and brothers. Give her 2 of these at 9 and 1 at 10, then take her to the hydro room tomorrow at 8, and then another in the morning at 7. Then we'll see if she won't cooperate with us now, won't we, Doctor?
Yes, Doctor.
You know where to find me if you need me. Ready, darling?
Yes, Willie. And, oh, there was a man in here, a man named Dowd. Elwood P. Dowd.
That was Mrs. Simmons' brother. I gave him full visiting privileges.
Oh, well, she must not see anybody tonight, not anybody at all. Tell her that.
He didn't ask to see heard he was looking for someone, some friend of his.
Well, who might that be, Dr. Sanderson?
I don't know. Was anybody with him this afternoon?
Not when I saw him.
Well, he said there was. He said he last saw his friend sitting in that chair with his hat and coat. He seemed quite disappointed.
Dr. Sanderson.
I told him he was over to his friend and give him a lift into town. He could ride in the back seat. Was that all right, Billy?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, here it is. I wrote it down on the back of this. He said his friend's name was Harvey. He
Harvey!
didn't give me a last name, but he mentioned something else about him. Didn't quite get what that was.
Harvey!
He said his friend was very tall. Well, why are you looking at me like that? This man was a very nice, polite man. If you merely asked him to give his friend a lift into town. And if we can't do something nice for someone, then why are we living?
I mean, that's that. By George, we'll find out about this.
Mrs. Chumley, how long ago did Mr. Dow leave?
Oh, I don't know. Just a second ago.
Make it. Henry, Dr. Sanderson, did a man in a brown suit walk out a couple minutes ago?
Gaffney.
He
Judge
did?
Gaffney.
He's gone?
Judge Gaffney, this is Dr. William Chumley, the psychiatrist. I'm making a routine check of one of our patients before putting him into our records. No, Judge, you called out here this afternoon about having one of your clients commissioned. What was the spelling of that name again? L-W, not a U. Mr. Elwood P. Dowd. Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson. I do believe your name is Dr. Sanderson.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, you know that much, do you? You went to medical school, you took a specialized degree in psychiatry, you graduated, you went forth. Maybe they neglected to tell you that a rabbit has large, pointed ears, and that a hat would have to be perforated to make room for such ears.
That seemed reasonable enough this afternoon. I just don't.
Doctor, the function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between those who are reasonable and those who merely talk and act reasonably. Do you realize what you've done to me? Archie, don't answer, I'll tell you. You have committed a psychopathic case to walk off these grounds and roam around the streets. You have subjected me, a psychiatrist, to the humiliation of having to call, of all things, a lawyer who not only came out here to commit, but also came out here to be committed.
I'm sorry.
Just a second. Wilson, I want you. I'm going to have to do something I haven't done in 15 years. I'm going to have to find this man, Elwood P. Dowd, and when I find him, and I will find him, your connection with this institute will have ended as of that moment. Wilson, get in the car. Look, just tell them the clothes that we can't make it. And Miss Kelly, come with me upstairs and we'll get this woman out of town.
Yes, doctor.
We'll have to tell the cook when we come for dinner. She'll be furious. Wilson,
Yes, ma'am.
what's a puka?
A what?
Puka?
You can search me, Mrs. Chumley.
Wonder if it's in the encyclopedia here. They have everything there. Wonder if it's a lodge or what is it? Don't dare to stop to do this now. Doctor won't want to find me still here when he comes down. He'll raise. I mean, oh dear.
P-O-O-K-A. Kuka, from old Celtic mythology. A very spirited animal form, always very large. The puka appears here and there, now and then, to this one and that one at his own caprice. A wise but mischievous creature, very fond of rum pots, crackpots, and how are you, Mr. Wilson? How are you, Mr. Wilson? Who in the encyclopedia wants to know? Oh, to hell with you.
That's right. The stairs at the end of the hall. It goes to the 3rd floor. Go right up. I'll be with you in just a minute.
Well, where is she?
Who do you mean, Judge Gaffney? Sit down, won't you?
I mean your mother. Where's Peter Louise?
Why, Judge Gaffney, you know where she is. She took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium.
Then why was I called to the club with a lot of hysteria? Couldn't even get what she was talking about. Carrying on something fierce.
Mother carrying on? What about?
I don't know. She was hysterical.
That's strange. Mother took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium. All she had to do was put him in. Did you find it? I'll be right up. They found it.
Who? Found what? What are you talking about?
When Mother took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium, I went out to the real estate office to put the house on the market. And what do you think I found there?
I'm
He's looking through it now.
Now, see here, Myrtle May, this house doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your Uncle Elwood.
But now that Uncle Elwood is locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Where is your mother? Where's Vita Louise?
I told you, Judge Gaffney. She took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium.
Then why did Vita Louise call me when I was in the club in the middle of a game and scream at me to leave her here about something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Have you got the deed to this house?
Certainly. It's my safe. Myrtle May, I feel pretty bad about this whole thing of locking Elwood up.
Well, now Mother and I will be able to take a long trip now out to Pasadena.
I always liked that boy. He could have done anything, been anything, made himself a place in his community.
And all he did was get a big rabbit.
He had everything. He had brains, personality, friends. Men liked him. Women liked him. I liked him.
Are you meaning to tell me that once Uncle Elwood was like other men, that women actually liked him? I mean, in that way?
Oh, not ever since he started running around with that rabbit. But they did once. Once that mailbox of your grandmother's was filled with those little blue scented envelopes for Elwood.
I can't believe it.
Of course, there always was something a little different about him.
I don't doubt that.
He was always so calm and then he suddenly changed his plans. I used to admire it about him. I should have been suspicious. Take your average man looking up and seeing a great white rabbit. He'd do something about it. But not your Uncle Elwood. He took that calmly too. And look at where it got him.
You don't dream about how far overboard he's gone on this rabbit.
Myrtle May, yes I do. That rabbit's been in my office many's the time. I'm old, but I don't miss much. What was that noise?
The prospective fire on the third floor.
What's wrong, girl?
I never thought I'd see either of you ever again!
Judge, she looks like she's going to die. Oh, you're going to be all right, Mother. You're going to be perfectly all right.
Please, not so fast! Let me sit down!
Vita Louise, perhaps you'd like some tea. Give Vita Louise some tea.
Oh, we have some tea, Mother. Take her clothes, Judge.
Come, Myrtle. Myrtle May, get Vita's coat off this instant.
Oh, get off of me! Let me sit here! Let me get my breath!
What happened, Mother?
Omar, I want you to sue them! They put me in and let Elwood out!
What did you do, Mother? What did you say? You must have done something.
I didn't do one thing! I simply told them about Elwood and Harvey!
Then how could it have happened to you? I don't understand.
I told them about Elwood. Then, as I was walking along the path to get Elwood's things, this awful man stepped out. He was a white slaver! I know he was. He had on one of those white suits. That's how they advertise!
A man, Mother. What did the man do?
He took hold of me and then he took me in there and he
Poor Mother. Was he a young man?
Perhaps you better leave the room.
Now, I say not. Go on, Mother.
Go on, Vita Louise.
He took me in there and then he tore my clothes off!
Did you hear that, Judge? Go on, Mother.
And then he dunked me down into a tub of water!
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I always thought that what you were showed on your face. Don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle? This man took hold of me like I was a woman of the streets, but I fought. I always said that if a man jumped at me, I'd fight. Isn't that what I've always said?
That's what you've always said, Judge. That's what Mother's always told me to do.
Oh, and then he took hold of me and took me in there and dunked me in that water and began treating me like I was a crazy woman! But he did that just for spite!
Well, I'll be damned.
And then those doctors came upstairs and started asking me all
by God, I will. If Chumley thinks that he can run an unsavory place on the edge of town, he will be publicly chastised. By God, I'll run him out of the state.
Tell me, Judge, is that all those doctors do at places like that? Think about sex? Because if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's all in their head anyway. Why don't they just get out and go for long walks in the fresh air? Judge Gaffney walked that way for years, didn't you, Judge?
You said these men came up to talk to you. Dr. Chumley and Dr.
Oh, Sanderson! I don't believe a word he tells you, Judge. Don't believe anything he says. He's a liar, close set eyes. They're always liars. Besides, I told him something in strictest confidence and he blabbed it.
What did you tell him, Mother?
Oh, well, that's not important. I don't want to talk about it. It doesn't matter at all.
Vita Louise, anything you told us, Dr. Sanderson, you can tell us. This is your daughter, and I am your lawyer.
I know which is which. I don't want to talk about it. I want to get up to my own bed.
Mother, this is the important thing anyway. Where is Uncle Elwood?
I should have known better than to try and do something about him. Something protects him, that awful puka!
Mother, answer me! Where is Uncle Elwood?
I don't know! They let him go. They're not interested in men at places like that. Oh, don't be so naive, Marlene! What was that noise?
I found a buyer for the house.
You what?
Listen, Mother! Uncle Elwood is still out there with Harvey. No matter what happened out there, Uncle Elwood is still with Harvey!
Oh, fine! Next time you take him, Judge! And Myrtle, dear, all I hope is that never, ever for the rest of your life a man rips the clothes off of you and dumps you down in a tub of water!
Listen, Judge. Mother muffed everything. No matter who went out there, Uncle Elwood is still out there with Harvey!
The thing for me to do is to take some more notes.
It's all Uncle Elwood's fault. He found out what she was up to. Then he had her put in. Then he ran.
Myrtle May, do not talk like that. Calm down. Ever since he was a little boy, Elwood has done everything he could to share everything he had with Vita.
I'm not giving up. We'll find detectives. We'll get Uncle Elwood locked up. And you better save some of that sympathy for me and Mother. You have no idea what we've had to go through. Wait till I show you something. Something he brought home about 6 months ago. We hid it out in the garage. Oh, just wait here till I show you.
Myrtle May, I'm going up to talk to Vita. There's more than this in what she's telling.
Wait till I show you, Judge.
All right, I'll wait.
Okay, is he here?
What? What's this?
That crackpot with the rifle, is he here?
No, and who, may I ask, are you?
He's not here, Doctor. What? All right, Dr. Chumley's coming in anyways. What's your name?
Chumley. Well, I've got something I'd like to say to him.
What's your name? Come on, let's have it.
My name is Judge Gaffney.
The reason I asked your name is the doctor always likes to know who he's talking to. This guy says his name is Judge Gaffney, Doctor.
Good evening, Judge. Now, let's not waste time. Has he been here?
Who? Elwood?
No. You sure he ain't been here? He's hiding now. It'll be an awful job to have to smoke him out.
Yes, it will be more difficult, but I'll find him. You see, they're sly, they're cunning, but I'll get him. I always get him. Have you got the list of the places that we've been to, Wilson?
Right here, Doctor.
No, read it.
We've been to 17 bars. We've been to Charlie's Place, Eddie's Place, Betsy's Morning Dance, the 4th Avenue Firehouse, the 10th and 12th and 9th Avenue Firehouses, just to make sure. We've been to the Union Station, the grain elevator. Say, why does this guy go to a grain elevator?
Oh, the foreman is a friend of his. He has many friends in many places.
Now, Judge, I've stopped by here to ask Mrs. Simmons if she has any other suggestions as to where we might look for him.
Dr. Chumley, I regret to inform you that my client, Miss Simmons, has retained me to file suit against you.
What?
For the incident that happened this afternoon at the sanitarium.
A suit?
Yes, and while we're on the subject, Doctor.
That's pretty, ain't it, Doctor? After we've been dragging your tail all around town this afternoon trying to find that guy?
Judge, what happened out there this afternoon was an unfortunate mistake. I will discharge my assistant who made it. I'm willing to take this man's case personally. It interests me, and my interest in a case such as this is something no amount of money can buy. You can ask any of them.
But this business this afternoon.
Water under the dam. This is how I see this thing. I see it this way, well, the main item right now is to find that man and take him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
That's right. That's just what I think, Judge.
Dr. Chumley, let me introduce Miss Myrtle May Simmons.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
How do you do this, Simmons?
Hi, Myrtle.
Oh,
Now, could it be possible for me to speak to Mrs. Simmons?
Mother won't come down, Doctor. I know she won't. You would try to get her to talk to you, Judge.
You see, your mother was manhandled. She was, God knows what she was. That man's approach to her was not professional. It was personal.
Wilson, this is a serious charge.
Dr. Chumley, I've been with you for 10 years. Are you really going to take word of this, hey, what's your name again?
Judge Gaffney.
Thanks. Are you really going to take word of this old blister
Wilson!
Gaffney over me? Me and a dame who sees a rabbit?
It's not Miss Simmons who sees the rabbit. It's her brother.
Yes, it's Uncle Elwood.
Now, doctor, if you'll come with me.
Very well, Judge. Wilson, I have a situation here. Wait for me.
Okay, Doctor. So, your name's Myrtle May?
Yes.
So, if we grab your uncle, you're liable to come out to the sanitarium on visiting days?
Oh, I don't really
Well, if you do,
know.
I'll be there.
You will?
If you don't see him at first, stick around. I'll show up. I always show up.
You will?
Tell you what, you heard Dr. Chumley tell me to wait, right?
Yes.
Well, while I wait, I sure could use a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Certainly, if you let me precede you to the kitchen.
Yes, sir, you're all right, Myrtle May.
What?
Dr. Chumley noticed it right away. You don't miss a trick.
What?
Let me tell you something, kid. Not only do you got a nice build, but kid, you got something else too.
What?
You got the scurriest uncle that ever stuck his puss inside our nut house.
Hello, Chumley's Rest. Is Dr. Chumley there? Oh, Mrs. Chumley. This is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. How are you, my dear? Well, that's fine. Tell me, have you managed to locate Harvey yet? Well, that's all right. I'll find him. I'm sorry I missed you at the McClure's cocktail party. Everyone there was very charming. I left behind a few of my cards. Yes, I waited until you phoned and said you couldn't come because some patient had escaped. Where am I? Well, I'm here, but I'm leaving very shortly. I must find Harvey. Well, goodbye, my dear. My regards to you and everyone you have to run into. Goodbye now.
Doctor, you might as well go home and wait. I'm suing you for $50,000 and that's final.
Oh, Mrs. Simmons!
Hello? Yes. No.
That picture on the wall.
That portrait happens to be the pride of this house.
Well, who painted it?
Oh, I don't know, some man. He was around for the sittings and we paid him and then he left.
Well, I suppose you have to mind to pay people. You can persuade them to do anything.
Hello? Yes. No. This is Dexter 1567. Dr. Chumley, when you helped me out of that hydro tub at your place, what did I say to you?
Well, you expressed yourself. I can't exactly remember the words.
I said, this is a belated civility. Is that not what I said?
You said something of the sort.
Doctor, you brought this up. You may as well learn something quick. I took a course in art last winter. The difference between a thing like a photograph that's all mechanical and a fine oil painting is simply this. The photograph shows only the reality, while a painting shows the dreams behind it. Not only the reality, it's the dreams that keep us going, that separate us from the beasts. I wouldn't even want to live if I thought it was all just eating and sleeping and taking my clothes off while putting them on again.
Mrs. Simmons! Well, tell me, what is the matter?
Doctor, that is not my mother!
Glad to hear that.
Doctor, Elwood's been here. He's been here! Oh!
Just you stay right there. I'll take this. Hello? Yes. Yes, who's calling? Mrs. Simmons, it's your brother.
Oh, let me talk to him.
Well, don't tell him I'm here. Be casual.
Okay. Hello? Elwood, yes, dear. Hi. Where are you? Huh? Oh, just a minute. He wants to know if Harvey's here.
Say Harvey is here.
But he isn't.
Don't say Harvey is here. That would bring him here, perhaps. Humor him. You have to humor him.
Hello, Elwood. Yes, dear. Yes, Harvey's here. Huh? Oh. Well, just a minute, Elwood. It won't work. He told me to bring Harvey to the telephone.
Well, say Harvey is here, but he can't come to the telephone. Say he's in the bathtub.
The bathtub?
Yes, say he's in the bathtub and that you'll send him over. That way we'll find out where he is.
Doctor.
Now. You've got to do it now, Mrs. Simmons.
Elwood, yes, dear. Harvey is here, but he can't come to the telephone. I'll send him over as soon as he's dry. He's in the bathtub, you see. Uh-huh. Oh, Elwood, where are you? Where? Elwood!
Did he hang up?
No, Harvey just walked in the door. When he told me to check the bathtub, it must be a stranger. But I know where he is. He's at Charlie's place. That's the bar over at 12th and Main.
12th and Main? That's two blocks down the one over, isn't it?
Where are you going?
I'm going to find Joe and take him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
Oh, doctor, don't do that. I'm warning you.
But Mrs. Simmons, if I'm to help you...
Oh, there is no help for him. He cannot be helped. Oh, he must be picked up and locked up and left.
So you consider your brother a dangerous man?
Yes, dangerous.
Why?
Well, I won't tell you why. But if I didn't, why would I be asking for a permanent commitment for him?
Then I must observe this man. You must watch the expression on his face as he talks to this rabbit. He does talk to the rabbit, you said.
Oh, they tell each other everything.
Pardon?
I mean, of course he talks to him. But, doctor, please don't go and get him. You'll regret it if you do.
Nonsense. You underestimate Miss Simmons.
Oh, no, you underestimate my brother.
Oh, not at all. Now, don't worry now. I can handle him.
That's what you think. Oh, Myrtle May! See who's in the bathtub! Oh!
Thank you. I can go later.
What about the stuff in your room, Doctor? Upstairs?
Okay.
Yeah, it's up. You're getting bounced. I had you packed for the one who make the grade.
Those are the grades.
So when are you taking off?
As soon as Dr. Trummy gets back.
That's pretty much. Kelly, did you get a report back from the desk sergeant at the police accident bureau?
Not yet. I just spoke to the downtown dispensary. They haven't seen him.
It's beginning to smell awful funny to me. 4 hours he's been gone, not a word from him. Well, I may not see you again, Doctor, so I wish you a lot of luck. I'm sorry I got kicked in the ass right.
Thanks. Best of luck to you too, Wilson.
Kelly, let me know when you get a report back from the desk sergeant. He should bet if you go up after a psycho without me.
I'd like to help look for Dr. Trummy too, Wilson.
Well, that's all of you, Doctor. Right after he gave you the brush.
Oh, I have no resentment toward Dr. Trummy. He was right, I was wrong. Dr. Trummy is the biggest man in this field, and it's my fault not to be able to work with him.
You're not so smart yourself, Doctor.
Thanks, Wilson.
Yeah, don't mention it.
Dr. Sanderson.
Yes?
Well, Doctor, I just wanted to say that I wish you a lot of luck too. And I'm sorry to see you leave.
Are you sure you can spare me these 3 wishes, Miss Kelly?
On second thought, I guess I can't. Now get it.
Wait a minute, Kelly. This is for nothing, just a little advice. I'd be more careful about the people I kept around me in the future if I were you.
I beg your pardon, Doctor?
You don't have to. I told you it was free. I saw you dancing with Dr. down at the Rosebud at the Frontier Hotel.
Oh, did you? I didn't see you.
I'd be a bit more careful with him, Kelly. He looked to me like a schizophrenic all the way across the dance floor.
You really shouldn't have given him a second thought, Doctor. He was my date, not yours.
Well, that was his mentality. The rest of it, well,
She was lovely, though.
Who?
That girl you were with.
Oh, I thought you didn't notice.
You bumped into us twice. How could I help it?
Not that it matters to you, but that is a sweet little lady with a kind disposition, and she knows how to conduct herself.
Funny she couldn't rate a better date on a Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Oh, I suppose you're to be censored for the flippant hard shell you have. You're probably compensating for something.
I am not, and don't you go using your psychiatry on me.
Oh, if I could use it just once, just to see how you melt under any circumstances. I doubt it.
You'll never know, Doctor.
Because you interest me as a case study, Kelly. I'd like to know where you get that inflated ego of yours.
You are the meanest person. Inflated ego. Case history.
Don't mind, let's finish.
Leave me alone.
Gladly.
Charlie's breast. Yes, Sergeant. No accident report on them either in town or the suburbs. Look, Sergeant, maybe we have to look elsewhere. Oh, now my Sergeant is here. Mr. Dowd.
Oh, my dear, these are for you.
For me, thank you.
They're quite fresh. I just picked them outside.
Oh, I do hope Dr. Tony didn't see you. They're his prized dahlias. Did he go upstairs?
Not knowing, I cannot state. Those colors look lovely against your hair.
Thank you. I've never worn burnt orange. It's such a trying color.
You would improve any color, my dear.
Did Dr. Charlie go over to his house?
Oh, I don't know. Where's Dr. Sanderson?
In his office there, I think.
Thank you.
Mr. Dowd!
Dr. Sanderson, I've got a cab outside. You and Miss Keller able to lead away now.
Where's Dr. Trumley?
Oh, is he coming too? That's nice.
I don't know, Doctor.
I'm sorry, I was a few seconds late. Miss Keller, we should have some flowers. After what happened out here this afternoon, Dr. Ritter, they should be coming from you. As you get older, pretty women pass you by, you'll look back with gratitude to all the generous girls of your youth. Shall we get down to Charlie's now?
Mr. Dowd, I'm afraid the situation has changed since we last met here this afternoon. But I urge you to have no resentment towards Dr. Trumley. He only wants to help you.
Well, that's very nice of him. I'd like to help him too.
Now, if you approach this with a cooperative attitude, that's half the battle. We all have to face reality sometime, Mr. Dowd.
Well, Doctor, I've wrestled with reality for 40 years, and I'm happy to say I won out over it. Shall we go now?
Oh, here you go, Marty. Come on, upstairs. We're going upstairs. Is the doctor okay?
There must be some mistake. Miss Kelly and Dr. Sanderson and I, we're about to go downtown and have a drink. You're welcome to come too, Mr.
Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. They have a wonderful floor show.
Yeah, wait till you see the floor show that we've got. Upstairs, buddy.
Just a minute, Wilson. Where did you say Dr. Trumley was now?
As I said, he did not confide his plans in me.
Wait, the doctor ain't showed up yet?
Not yet.
Well, where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Mr. Dowd walked in here by himself.
Oh, did you, huh? Listen, you talk fast, or I'm working you over.
I'd rather you didn't do that. And I'd rather you wouldn't even mention such a thing in the presence of a lovely young lady like this.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Trumley came into town to pick you up. That was 4 hours ago.
Where has the evening gone to?
Now, Mr. Dowd, you said you saw Dr. Trumley, right?
Yes, I did. He went down to Charles with me. Let's all go there and talk it over with the tall one.
We're going no place. Now I'm asking you a question. If you don't button up your lip and give me some straight answers, I'm gonna have to beat it out of you.
I'm afraid what you suggest isn't possible.
What?
You suggest I button up my lip and give you some straight answers. Simply can't be done.
Let me handle this, Wilson.
All right, we'll handle it then, and find out where the doctor is.
You said Dr. Trumley and you went down to Charlie's place, yes?
Yes, we did, and I was very glad to see him. He had asked for me, and naturally the proprietor showed him over to our table. We exchanged the conventional greetings. I said, "How do you do, Dr. Chunley?" He said, "How do you do, Mr. Dowd?" I believe he said that at least once.
Go on.
Well, just trying to be factual. I then introduced him to Harvey.
To who?
A white rabbit 6 feet tall.
6 feet?
6 feet 1.5.
Okay, fool around with him. The doctor's probably someplace bleeding to death in a ditch.
Those were his plans for the evening. He did not tell me.
Go on now.
Well, I was sitting on the outside like this. Harvey was on the inside against the wall, and Dr. Chumley was across from us, so we could look at us.
All right, spend all night on seating arrangements. That's fine.
Well, Harvey suggested that we buy him a drink. Knowing he does not like to drink alone, I suggested we join him.
And so?
Well, we joined him.
Go on, go on.
We joined him again.
Then what?
Well, we kept right on joining him.
Oh, skip all the time!
Suggest I skipped a large portion of the evening.
Come on, can you please just tell us where the doctor is?
Well, Harvey and the doctor began talking, quietly at first, but became rather heated, and Dr. Chumley raised his voice.
Yeah? Why?
Well, Harvey seemed to think that Dr. Chumley should assume part of the financial responsibility for the joining, but Dr. Chumley didn't seem to think so.
I can believe that part of it.
Let him talk. See how far he'll go. This guy's got guts.
Not wanting to cause any trouble, I offered to pay for all of it. We go down there quite often, Harvey and I, and Ryder is a fine man, an interesting approach to life. And then the other matter came up.
Oh, cut the damn double talk and get on with it.
Mr. Wilson, you're a sincere type of person, but I must insist you don't use that language around Miss Kelly.
You're right, Mr. Dowd, and we're sorry. Now, you said the other matter came up.
Yes, there was a beautiful blonde woman named Mrs. Smethville seated across from us. Dr. Chumley tried to sit next to her, claiming they had once met in Chicago. Her escort escorted him back to our table, saying it would be better for him to mind his own affairs. Does he have any?
Does he have any what?
Well, does he have any affairs?
How should I know?
Please hurry, Mr. Dowd. We're all so worried.
Well, Harvey then urged him to go over to to Eddie's bar. But Dr. Chumley wanted to go to Vinny's drive-in instead. But while they were arguing about it, I went over to get a drink. When I came back, they were gone.
Where did they go? Where did the doctor go?
I don't know. But I had a date with Miss Kelly and Dr. Sanderson, so I thought we might run into them later on and make a party of it.
So, you satisfied? You got his side of the story. Okay, you're lying and we know it.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, I never lied.
Well, you did something with the doctor. I'm gonna find out what it is.
Don't touch him, Wilson.
Wilson, maybe he isn't lying.
That's all this guy is. It's a bunch of lies. You two really aren't sitting here believing a story of how Dr. Chumley went and had drinks with a big 6-foot rabbit.
Well, maybe Dr. Chumley did go to Charlie's place.
And saw a big white rabbit, I suppose.
Why not? Harvey was there. At first, Dr. Chumley was afraid of him. That gave way to admiration as the evening wore on. As the evening wore on. Now that's a nice expression. With your permission, I'll say it again. As the evening wore on.
And with your permission, I'm gonna knock your teeth down your throat.
Mr. Wilson, don't you have some old friends you can go play with?
Oh, the nerve of this guy! He couldn't come down here with a normal case of DTs. No, he had to come down here with a 6-foot rabbit!
Well, stimulating as all this is, I really must be getting downtown.
Yes, Charlie's place. Is a Dr. Chumley around anywhere? Oh, he was with a Mr. Dowd earlier in the evening? What? Well, don't bite my head off. My, that man was angry. He said that Mr. Dowd was welcome at any time, but his friend was not.
Oh, that's Mr. McNulty, the bartender. He thinks the world of me. Let's all go down there and have a drink.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Dowd.
Yes, my dear. May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you want to. Poor Mrs. Chumley, so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Won't you try and remember something? Something that might help her, please?
For you, my dear, I'd be willing to do anything. I'd almost be willing to live my life over again. Almost. But I'm afraid I've told it all.
You're sure?
Quite sure. Would you ask me again? I like that warm tone you had in your voice just then.
So did I.
Oh, nuts. Nuts.
Oh, well, I must get going. Plenty of things to do.
Mr. Dowd, what is it that you do?
Well, Harvey and I, we go down to the bars and we have a drink and we play the jukebox a little. Soon the faces of other people turn towards ours and they smile. They're saying, "We don't know you, mister. You seem like a fine fellow." Harvey and I warm ourselves in these golden moments. We enter as strangers. Soon we have friends. They sit with us, they drink with us, they talk with us. They tell us about the big, terrible things they've done. Big, wonderful things they will do. Their hopes, their dreams, their loves, their hates, all very big, because nobody ever brings anything small to a bar. And then I introduce them to Harvey. He's bigger and grander than they offer me. And when they leave impressed. The same people seldom come back, but that's in my dear. There's a little bit of that in all of us. Too bad, isn't it?
Mr. Dowd, how did you happen to call him Harvey?
Well, Harvey's his name.
How do you know that?
Now that's a very interesting story. I was walking along Fairfax one night along 18th and 19th. You know that block?
Yes, yes.
Well, I just helped Ed Hickey into his taxi. Ed had been mixing his gin in his ride that night, and I felt he needed conveying. As I was walking along, I heard a voice behind me say, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." I turned around, and there was this giant white rabbit leaning against the lamppost. Now, I didn't think much of that, because when you live in this town as long as I have, you get used to the fact that everybody knows your name. So I walked over to him. He said, Ed Hickey's a little stiff this evening, or could I be mistaken? Well, I think the world and all of Ed Hickey, but he was spiffed. We kept talking, and finally I said, "You have the advantage over me. You know my name, but I don't know yours." Right back at me, he said, "What name do you like?" I didn't even think for a minute. Harvey's always been my favorite name, so I said Harvey. And here's the interesting part of that whole story, Doctor. He said, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
Mr. Dow, what was your father's name?
John Frederick.
All right. Did you have any childhood friends? Somebody to spend your many happy, carefree hours with?
Oh, yes, I did, Doctor.
Now,
Didn't you?
what was his name?
Vern McKinley. Did you ever know the McKinleys, Doctor?
No.
Well, that's too bad. There were a lot of them, and they circulated.
Mr. Dow, I want you to think closely. Wasn't there someone, somewhere, sometime of whom you knew the name of Harvey? Isn't there anybody that you know by the name of Harvey?
No, Doctor. Maybe that's why I always had such high hopes for him.
All right, Wilson, I think it's about time to meet Mr. Dow upstairs.
I'm taking him nowhere. You let him sit here, forget all about Dr. Chumley. You made this your show, so you get to run it.
All right. Come on, Mr. Dow. Come on, Elwood.
Very well, Lyman. But I'm afraid I can't stay long. I promised Harvey I'd take him to that floor show.
Oh, boy. Dr. Chumley, are you all right?
All right. Yes, of course I'm all right. Lock the door. I'm being followed.
Who's following, Doctor?
None of your business.
All right, then.
Wilson! Wilson!
How'd you get out there, Dr. Chumley? I just saw you go in there.
I went out through the window. Wilson, don't leave me.
No, Doctor, I won't.
Get that man down out here.
Yes, Doctor.
No, don't leave me.
What you just said?
Dumpy, on the telephone.
Dumpy, give that guy down his clothes and get him down here right away.
Oh, no.
There, Doctor, just see who it is. Judge, get after me.
I want to speak to Chumley.
I don't know.
Chumley, this thing is serious.
It certainly is.
More serious than you suspect. Where can we go talk?
On that.
The doctor don't want you in his office.
Then sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down.
Sit down. Listen, hey. Don't go, Wilson. Don't leave me.
It's okay. Now, here are my notes. The facts. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you. Is that good?
Now, Dr. Chumley, has it ever occurred to you that there might actually be something of this rabbit, Harvey?
Of course there isn't. And anybody who thinks so is crazy. Don't look at me that way. There's nothing funny about me. I'm like my father's family and they're all dead.
Now then, my client, the plaintiff, Miss Vita Louise Simmons, under oath, swears that on the morning of November 2nd, while standing in the kitchen of her own home, hearing her name called, she turned to see his great rabbit, Harvey. He was staring at her. Resenting the intrusion, my client made certain remarks that drove the creature from the room. He went.
What did she say to him?
She was emphatic. The remarks were not important.
I want to know how she got this creature out of her sanitarium. I mean,
I hate to have you tell him, Judge. It isn't a bit like Mother.
Quit stalling. Let's have it.
She looked at him right in the eye and exclaimed in the heat of anger, "To hell with you!"
to hell with you. Wait, she left.
Yes, he left, but that's besides the point. The point is it perjury or is it something we can cope with? I asked your opinion.
No, I want the sanitarium the way it was before that man came out here this afternoon.
How it mean?
You do?
Yes, well, it certainly gets on anyone's nerves the way a Uncle Elwood knows what's going to happen before it happens. This morning, for instance, he told us that Harvey told him that Mrs. McKinley's Aunt Rose was going to drop in on her unexpectedly this evening.
Did she?
Did she what?
Aunt Rose said she couldn't just as Harvey said she would.
Oh, yes. Those things always happen the way Uncle Elwood says they will, but what of it? What do we care about the McKinleys?
You say this sort of thing happens often.
Well, yes, and isn't it silly? Uncle Elwood says Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. But how could he when there's no such thing as Harvey?
Fly specks. I can spend my life among fly specks while miracles have been leaning on lampposts and ain't even Fairfax.
Good. Nobody here but people.
He promised he wouldn't come out.
Oh, well, good evening then. I brought your Uncle Elwood's bathrobe. It's in the cab. Well, why are you all just standing here? I thought you'd be committing him.
Sit down there, girl.
I will not sit down there.
So, how about you and me stepping out Saturday night right away?
Certainly not.
Sorry.
Doctor, may I give an opinion?
Yes, do, by all means.
His opinion, Judge. That's the doctor I was telling you about. The eyes.
It's my opinion that Mr. Dowd is suffering from a third-degree hallucination, and the other party involved is a victim of auto-suggestion. I recommend shock formula number 977 for Mr. Dowd and a bed rest at home for you do. Yes, after this injection, your brother won't see this big white rabbit anymore. We've used it on hundreds of psychopathic cases.
Well, don't you call my brother a psychopathic case. We've never had anything like that in our entire family.
If you didn't think Uncle Elwood was psychopathic, why did you bring him out here?
Where else could I take him? I couldn't take him to jail, could I? Besides, this is not your uncle's fault. Why did Harvey have to speak to him in the first place? With the town full of people, why did he have to bother Elwood?
Oh, stop putting your oar in. Keep your oar out. If this shock formula brings Elwood back to reality, then let's give it to him.
Dr. Sanderson, I'm not sure that would work in a case of this kind.
It always has.
Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does?
Yes, but if you give him the formula and Elwood doesn't see Harvey, then you won't let him in. Then when Harvey comes to the door, I'll deal with him.
Mother, would you stop talking about Harvey as if there were such a thing?
Oh, Myrtle May, you've got a lot to learn, and I hope you never learn it.
Here he is.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Elwood! I brought you your bathrobe. It's down in the cab.
Well, thank you, Vita. That was nice of you.
What do you do? We must do something.
Oh, yes, we must.
I should say so.
Yes, it is imperative.
Well, while we're all talking about it, let's go down to Charlie's place and have a drink.
No, Elwood, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay here.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
I'll find a different place then.
Well, what do we do? We're waiting on your decision. What is your decision? Do we give him the shock formula or not?
Oh, I must be alone with this man. Would you all step out into the other room? I have my diagnosis at the moment.
You hurry, doctor.
Don't worry, I will. Mr. Dow, is there anything I can get you?
Anything you have in mind?
Mr. Dow, what kind of man are you? Where'd you come from?
Oh, didn't I give you one of my cards?
And where in the place is this type of Did you find anything like it?
The Harvey the Puka.
Is it true that he has a function? That's he.
Gets advance notice? Yes, I'm happy to say it is. Harvey is versatile. Harvey can stop clocks.
What?
You've heard the expression, his face could stop a clock.
Yes, but why? To what purpose?
Well, Harvey says he can look at your clock and stop it. And you can go wherever you like, as far as you like, for as long as you like. When you get back, about 1 minute will tick by.
You mean that he can actually...
Einstein's overcome time and space. Harvey's overcome not only that, but any objections.
He does this for you.
He would at any time, but so far I haven't been able to think of anywhere else I'd rather be than right here. I always have a fine time wherever I am, whoever I'm with. I'm having a fine time with you right now, Doctor.
I know where I'd go.
Where?
I'd go to Akron. There's a cool cottage camp outside Akron, a grove of maple trees. Cool, green, beautiful.
My favorite tree.
I'd go there with a young, pretty woman, a strange woman, quiet woman.
Under a tree.
I wouldn't even want to know her name. I'd just be Mr. Brown.
You wouldn't want to know her name. You might be acquainted with the same people.
I send out for cold beer. I tell her things I've never told anybody else before. Things I locked up in here. And I go out for more cold beer.
Beer. No whiskey?
No, no beer is better.
Maybe under a tree, but she might like a highball.
I wouldn't even want to actually talk to me. But as I talked, I want her to reach out a soft white hand and touch my head and say, poor thing. Oh, you poor, poor thing.
And how long would you like that to go on?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Just Akron beer and poor thing for 2 weeks. That wouldn't get monotonous?
No, it would not. It would be wonderful.
I can't help but feel you're making a mistake by not letting that poor woman talk. She might have some very interesting news items. And I know you're making a mistake with all that beer and no whiskey, but you're 2 weeks.
Cold beer, Akron. Oh, that's good. Oh, good God.
You need to lay down for a while, Doctor?
No, tell me, Mr. Dow. Would he, could he do this for me?
He could and he might. Never heard Harvey say a word against Akron. Where should we go after this, Mr. Chumley?
Do you know where Harvey is?
No, I thought he was with you.
Ah. Oh, that's it. He's at Charlie's.
Charlie's place. Well, thank you.
Oh, no, Mr. Dow, not there.
Oh, I must say goodbye to Dr. Sanderson.
Mr. Dow. Well, you see, your sister, she's at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. She's the one who persuaded me to lock you up. Today she had your power of attorney and the key to your safety box. She's the one who brought you out here.
My sister. Did all that in one afternoon? Vita's certainly a whirlwind.
God, man, have your righteous indignation.
Doctor, my mother always told me, in this life, Elwood, she always called me Harvey, she'd say, in this life, Elwood, you must be oh so smart, oh so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart, but I recommend pleasant. You may call me.
Just the same. I will come to protect you if I have to commit her. Would you like me to do that?
I wouldn't want Vita to be out here unless she likes it here. Not that it would have a nice place or anything, Doctor, but I think she'd rather be home with me, the Harvey, and Myrtle May. Well, diviner grace has never brightened this enchanting face. Oh, this fifth allergy. My dear, you will never look lovelier.
I'll never feel happier, Mr. Dowd. I know it.
Oh, well.
Yes, Doctor.
I wonder if I can read the rest of that poem.
Say, maybe this rabbit gang's a good one. Y'all never kissed me.
Well, Ovid's always been my favorite poet.
Okay, pal. Come on, you're discharged.
Wilson, take your hands off that man.
What?
Apologize to Mr. Dowd.
Apologize to him? This guy with the rabbit?
Apologize.
I'm sorry. This is the way out.
If I leave, I'll remember.
Wait, Mr. Dowd. Do women often come up to you and wish you like this good?
Every once in a while.
Yes.
I encourage it too.
To hell with decency. I've got to find that rabbit. Go ahead and knock.
Just a minute, Dowd. Doctor, do you agree with my diagnosis?
Yes, yes, call them all in.
Mrs. Simmons, Judge Gaffney, will you please come in?
Is everything settled?
I'd like to go with Dr. Sanderson.
Oh, how wonderful!
Good boy!
Well, let's celebrate. I've got some more bars. Listen to this book.
Oh, Elwood, no, you're gonna stay here.
Oh, well.
This injection carries a violent reaction. We can't give it to him without his consent. Will he give it?
Oh, of course he will if I tell him.
But to give up this rabbit, I doubt it.
Oh, here's one. Blondie's Chicken Inn.
Elwood!
Blondie's Chicken Inn it is. Let's all go down there. How many people are coming?
Elwood!
Mr. Dowd, I have an injection that would be good for you. Will you take it?
Albert, you won't have to do this rabbit anymore.
But you will have your responsibilities, your duties.
Well, Doctor, I'm sure if you made it, it must be a very fine thing. And if I happen to meet anyone who needs it, I'll be sure to recommend it. But for me, I don't think I'd care for it.
Oh, hear that, doctor, hear that, judge. That's what we have to put up with.
Vita, do you want me to take this?
Oh, Elwood, I'm only thinking of you. You're my brother, and while I've known you for years, I'd do anything for you. That Harvey would do anything for you. He's making a fool of you, Elwood. Don't be a fool.
Oh, I won't.
Why, you could amount to something. You could be sitting on the Western Slope waterboard right now, if you'd only go over and ask them.
Well, if you feel that way, Vita, Harvey and I will go over and ask them tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I never want to see another tomorrow. Not if it means Myrtle May and I have to live in the house with that rabbit. We have no social life. Our friends never come to see us. Oh, we have no life at all. I wish I were dead, but maybe you don't care.
Vita, I don't know what to say. Are you sure about this? Very well, Doctor. Tell me where to go.
Dr. Styles.
Dr. Styles.
Doctor, how long will this take?
Just a couple of minutes. Why don't you wait?
Well, wait.
Well, Dr. Sanderson said it would only be a few minutes.
Mother, don't bitch it.
Oh, how can I help it?
Oh, yes. Wouldn't I look so good in a house coat of this material?
Well, yes, dear. But let me get a good night's sleep first.
Come in. Oh, what do you want?
I'm looking for a little short lake. Jumped out of my cab without paying.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. How much is it?
All the way out here from town, $2.75.
$2.75. I could swear I brought my wallet. Where is it? Myrtle, do you have any money?
I used the money Uncle Elwood gave me to buy a new hairdo for the party.
Oh, Judge, do you have $2.75 I could give this man?
Oh, sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Oh, I'll have to get it from Dr. Chumley. Just a second. Oh, Dr. Chumley! Dr. Chumley, do you happen to have $2.75 I could give this cab driver?
Well, I'm have to go in with the injection. I'm not time for it now. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, you'll have to wait. I'll get it from my brother. He's in there to get an injection.
You're gonna get my money from your brother. And isn't there getting that stuff they shoot out around here?
Well, yes, but it'll only be a few minutes.
Lady, I want my money now.
But I just told you it will only be a few minutes.
And I told you I want my money now. Or I'm nosing the cat back to town, and you'll have to wait for the bus at 6 in the morning.
Well, of all the pig-headed stubborn things!
I should say so.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, I never heard anything so unreasonable in all my life. Dr. Chumley, can I borrow Elwood for just a moment?
Oh, don't be too long.
Elwood? Yes, hi, Elwood. Could you give this cab driver $2.75? But don't give him any more. He's been very rude.
Well, how do you do? Elwood Vidal.
Buffalo, DJ.
Well, this is my sister Vita, my lovely niece Myrtle May, Judge Gaffney, and Dr. Chumley.
Hi.
Lived around here long, Mr. Lofgren?
Lived around here all my life.
And you enjoy your work?
It's okay. I've been driving the Apex cabs 15 years. My brother Joe's been driving for Brown around 12.
So you drive for Apex and your brother Joe for Browns. Well, that's interesting, isn't it, Vita? Here, Mr. Lofgren, let me give you one of my cards.
I got on this, Mr. Dowd.
Just a second. My sister and my niece and Harvey and I live with me at this address. You and your brother should come down for dinner sometime.
Sure, be glad to.
When? When would you be glad to?
I couldn't come any night, but Tuesday. I'm on duty all the rest.
Well then, Tuesday it must be. Vita and I will be delighted to have you, won't we?
Elwood, I'm sure this man has friends of his own.
Well, you can never have too many friends.
Elwood, come on. Don't keep Dr. Chumley waiting. That's rude.
Of course, of course. It was very nice meeting you, Mr. Lofgren. Here you go. Keep the change, if you'll excuse me.
Sweet guy.
Certainly. You could just as well have waited.
Oh no, listen, lady. I've been driving this around 15 years. I brought him out here to get that stuff and brought him back. It changes him.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Ain't kidding. On the way out here, then sit back and enjoy the ride. Sometimes we sit and watch the sunsets and the birds flying. Sometimes we watch the sunsets when there ain't no sunsets and the birds flying when it rains. It's real fun and always get big tips, but afterwards, ugh,
Afterwards, oh! What do you mean afterwards, oh!
They crab, they crab, they crab. They yell at me to watch the lights, watch the intersections, watch the brakes. They have no faith in me, or my buggy yet. It's the same roads, the same driver, the same cab. It's no fun, no tips.
But my brother would have tipped you anyway. He's very generous, always has been.
Not after this, you old lady. After this, you'll be a regular human being, and you know what bastards they are. Glad I met you. I'll be late.
Oh, Judge Gaffney, Myrtle May! Oh! Stop it! Stop it!
Stop it!
Stop! Don't give it to him!
Stop it now. We're giving the injection.
Judge, do something!
I don't like people like that! I don't want him like that! Stop it!
Stop this!
You shut up! I remember my father. I remember your father. I remember when...
What's this? What's all the commotion?
She sounded off again, Doctor.
She wants to stop the injection.
You haven't already given it to him, have you?
No, but we're ready. Take Mrs. Simmons away, Wilson.
Get your hands on me, you white slaver!
Vita Louise, you don't know what you want. You didn't want this rabbit either.
And what's wrong with Harvey? If Elwood and Myrtle May and I want to live with Harvey, what's it to you? It's none of your business. You don't even have to come around. Elwood, oh, Elwood!
There. You've had a long day. You're all tired out.
That's it. Next time, I'm not giving up my game at the club, no matter how big the animal is.
Come on, Elwood. Let's get out of here. I hate this place. I wish I'd never seen it.
Just hang on a minute.
It's what Vita says, Doctor.
Well, come on.
Just a minute. Well, goodbye, Mr. Wilson. Bye, Chumley.
Just a second. What's this? My wallet. I could have sworn I left it. Oh, Harvey. Come along, Myrtle May. Come along, Elwood.
You're back with me. Well, Doctor, for years I've known my family thinks of Harvey. I've often wondered, what does Harvey's family think of me? Oh, there you are. Excuse me, Doctor. You're standing in his way. Oh, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.